Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to break down a pretty unique document called Vax-seen. It's an interesting one because it blends a faith-based perspective with some specific claims about genetic vaccines and ideas on holistic healing. So let's just dive right in and see what it's all about. So right off the bat, the document opens with this quote, and honestly, it's the key to understanding its entire point of view. The name itself, Vax-seen, is a play on words, right? It's a call to action, to see past the official story, to apply what it calls holistic discernment to this whole topic. All right, so first up, let's explore the document's core perspective. It really builds its entire case on a foundation of faith and, a critical questioning of what it considers the mainstream narrative around vaccines. Okay, this is a really big claim the source makes. It argues that the actual definition of the word vaccine was quietly changed to make room for these new genetic technologies. From its point of view, this wasn't just some minor update. It was a massive shift that basically opened the door for a whole new type of injection. And to kind of frame its entire mission, the document pulls in this quote from the Bible. The idea here is that knowledge is a form of protection. It presents the human body as this divinely designed system, and its whole goal is to give people the information it believes they need to protect and heal that system. So with that foundation laid out, the document then pivots into its scientific argument. This next section is all about what it calls the central issue with genetic vaccines, the spike protein. This slide really shows you the distinction the document is trying to make. On the left, you've got traditional vaccines, which it says are all about teaching your immune system, right? Using a weakened virus. But on the right, it paints a very different picture for genetic injections. It describes them as a technology that reprograms your own cells to produce parts of a virus, basically turning your body into a protein factory, as they put it. So what exactly does the source claim is in these vials? Well, it points to the synthetic mRNA, that's the genetic code. Then you have the lipid nanoparticles, or LNPs, which are like this fatty bubble designed to sneak that code past your body's defenses. But the key thing to understand, according to the document, is that the final product isn't something injected into you, it's the spike protein that your own body is told to build. And this right here, this is the central scientific argument of the whole vaccine document. It claims that the very thing that's supposed to trigger your immune system, the spike protein, is also a toxin, a biologically active agent that it says can cause damage, inflammation, and even clotting all over the body. And they argue that this isn't just a theory, right? They present this table to connect a whole pattern of reported health issues directly to the effects of what they call persistent spike protein. The source even brings up clinicians who claim these symptoms, from heart issues to brain fog, are a direct result of that spike protein running amok in the body. Now, after laying out what it sees as the problem, the document naturally shifts over to a proposed solution. This section introduces a pretty detailed protocol that's aimed at detoxification and recovery for people who, in the source's view, have been harmed. Now, the crucial thing to get about this protocol is that it's not about forcing some kind of cure. The whole philosophy here is about supporting the body's own God-given detox systems, the liver, the kidneys, all that stuff, and just helping them do the job they were already designed to do. The protocol's toolkit kicks off with some core nutrients. For instance, the source really emphasizes N-acetylcysteine, or NAC, because it claims it can help break down the spike protein itself. And then there's vitamin D3, to help get the immune response back in balance. It frames these as fundamental building blocks the body needs to repair itself. And it's not just about vitamins. The protocol also brings in a bunch of herbal remedies, which the document basically presents as nature's own intelligent solutions. It claims, for example, that dandelion root can help block the spike protein from latching onto our cells, and that pine needle tea has compounds that might help with clotting. But it doesn't stop at what you take. The protocol also dives deep into lifestyle practices. And what's really interesting is how every physical action, like intermittent fasting or using a sauna, is kind of paired with a spiritual principle. It's like physical detox and spiritual renewal are seen as two sides of the very same coin. And that brings us to our final section, which, is really the spiritual heart of this entire document. This is where the source lays out the why, the philosophical and faith-based beliefs that are driving its whole perspective on what healing is. At the very center of it all is this quote from the Psalms. The source's core belief is that the human body is this intelligent, divinely made creation. And because of that, it argues that real healing isn't about overriding the body with technology, but about working with its own built-in, God-given wisdom. And from that belief about the body, the source then builds out its argument about ethics. It argues that true healing simply can't happen without freedom, specifically the freedom of informed consent and the freedom for doctors to actually question and debate things. It presents this less as a political point and more as a moral, even spiritual imperative. And really, this final quote is what ties it all together. It's their ultimate call to action. It positions the act of searching for truth, even if that truth isn't popular, as an act of service, and as the essential first step toward real freedom and healing. So that's where this document leaves us, with a pretty big question. By weaving together biochemistry, medical freedom, and spiritual faith, it puts forward this really integrated model of what it means to be healthy. And the question it kind of leaves hanging in the air is this: what does a perspective that merges the physical with the metaphysical tell us about where the future of health might be going? It's definitely something to think about.